Nintendo Switch has been alive for just over 4 weeks, but today we discover another hidden gem. What's up, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce, joined by Jake and Gabe. Today we are giving you our review discussion of Graceful Explosion Machine. And let us start off the video by saying that this game is freaking incredible.
Fantastic.
I think we all love it. It is a must-buy, but let's not stop there. We're going to give you all the nitty-gritty details of why this thing is a straight-up home run. And it is made by Vertex Pop. It's $12.99. It is a timed exclusive on Switch, eventually becoming to other platforms. But right now, today, you can get it on the eShop, and it is an exclusive for the time being. And what a wonderful exclusive it is. It controls so well. It plays so great. The mechanics are so sound. You'd almost think it was developed by Nintendo, but yet it's an indie title that fits this platform oh so well. So, what are your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts is that you should tell us a little bit about what the game is, even though there is gameplay on the
Zachary,
stream. But
I've never played before. Please explain.
You have played. You played before anybody. You were the lucky first. First off, thanks to Vertex Pop for providing the review codes. Second of all, this game is a side-scrolling arcade shooter. It has an old-school feel, but definitely keeps things fresh. It's got a really awesome and inviting look, lots of colorful explosions, as you'd expect from the title, lots of beautiful geometric shapes and bug-like aliens coming at you from all directions. The main goal here is to eliminate aliens and keep that combo meter building. You do so by chaining kills, and you'll need to navigate these levels, avoiding enemies, dodging bullets, and racking up those kills utilizing 4 different weapons. You have a basic blaster, and then 3 weapons that chug into a power meter. Those are the energy sword, the sniper, they call it a sniper, but I think it more was like a laser beam, and then the missiles. And all 4 of these weapons are fun to use. They all have their own situational purpose. Some of them are stronger or weaker against different enemies, and you will have to employ all 4 of these tactics to try and gain an S rank, which it's all about the high score here. It's all about going for an A or an S. It's about chaining together, building the biggest combo, and trying to achieve perfect phases, because each level is divided into 3 waves or 3 phases, and they last, I don't know, anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes, I'd say 2 to 4 minutes.
Yeah, definitely somewhere in that range for sure.
And it's just a blast. It's very chaotic, but you feel like you have just the right amount of control. There's never any lag when moving your spaceship. They've got this neat little mechanic where you can flip facing left or right, and that comes in huge handy when you're trying to find new enemies to chain or avoid a whole onslaught of enemies. And it also really affects your movement as you wrap the level, because these levels are somewhat small, but what makes them feel larger and what makes them feel very congruent and not at all boxed in is that they wrap. So similar to Pac-Man or Mario Brothers, you can move from the right side of the screen to the left side of the screen fluidly, and it never feels like you're trapped inside of a chamber. It always feels like an open level, and that's probably because you're moving so darn fast. You really have to balance the risk-reward of, do I play it safe and stay alive, or do I charge in there head-on and try to keep this combo meter building? Because you'll be at 8.6, and you have to get a kill. It drops very fast. They fine-tune everything here, from the movement to the speed of the turn, to the damage of the weapons, to how hard or how easy it is to kill certain enemies, and they've also really fine-tuned the drop of the combo meter. It drops quickly, and that is what really sort of keeps you on your toes and requires you to play this game at a pretty frenetic pace. All the while, there is calm, synthesized music that kind of keeps you grounded, ensures that things don't get too crazy, and with a really quick restart option, there really isn't a whole lot of frustration, even if you do fail. And actually dying is hard. It's more about, did you get a perfect phase? Were you able to keep that combo meter? Did you get hit and ruin your combo meter? Did you take too much time and ruin your combo meter? It's all about achieving high scores, and one of the rare games where I feel like it's fun to go back again and again and try to achieve those S ranks.
All right, so to jump in here, comparisons to like Resogun and Defender for sure. I think that those games are basically like sharing the same DNA as this one, although this one is much prettier, and the gameplay is, I wouldn't say more fine-tuned than something like Resogun. It's just so different because you have the different weapons, and Resogun is also about keeping up combos and high scores, but this one, the way I describe it is like serene chaos, really, because like the music is so soothing for the most part, and the visuals are like very colorful and vibrant, but there's like hordes of enemies coming at you. Like sometimes the entire screen is all enemies and you gotta like phase through them. So like it's so fun, so fun.
Yeah, it really is a fantastic title. Jake, how are your stress levels when playing GEM?
They can get pretty high. I have definitely yelled while playing, but it's so like lighthearted, and like I said in my other video, like it's so colorful and like simple and calm, and I don't know, it's fun that I even if I get frustrated, I have to play it again. I have to do better and keep working. And I thought it was really interesting, like the first time I played, because from trailers and stuff, it honestly looks like it could be like a little kid's like cave exploring game, like with all these like little pretty colors and shapes, but it actually gets very intense. And I named the spaceship the SS Candy Corn. I don't know if you guys know that, but that is the official,
quite apropos,
that is the official name deemed by me. But yeah, I love the game. I don't think it's you said it was hard to die, but once you get into like late world 2
is not hard to die at all.
Early world 3, if you make like a couple mistakes or use your dash at the wrong time, you can die pretty easily. So I think the difficulty definitely ramps up at a very like good pace, because it offers a challenge at like every turn, every new level, but not to the point where like it's impossible or you can't do it. Like you have to just like the first world is kind of just like building and like learning where like the buttons are like mapped and like when to use them, and then world 2 it kind of throws you in, like gives you some new enemies, and then world 3 is like a whole new beast. But and it's like it seems so simple and the enemies look the same, but they all have a very different way of approaching you and a different way that you have to take them out. Like there's some like exploding enemies, there's some like centipede enemies that like break off. So it's very interesting how simple it feels and looks, but really has a lot of, you have to think about what you're going to be doing, and there's like a complexity into how you're going to spend your energy meter and things like that on the fly.
And I love like the small changes in like the level design as you progress through the game, because it's not a very big game. So there's 4 worlds, 9 levels per world, plus like the warp thing. So like it's not like a huge game, but each world kind of introduces something new. Like in, I believe is it World 2 that introduces like the laser that's like trying to keep you either towards the bottom of the level or the top, because usually in the beginning in the first world you have like free reign to just go basically anywhere, and since the level does warp around, you can change your combo that way. But that laser is like so intrusive, and there's more stuff like going forward that I won't spoil, just because like so you guys can discover some of this stuff for yourself. But the small changes in the level design I found was like super interesting.
Well, even in each level there's like 2 to 3 phases, and between each phase it adds or like will subtract obstacles. So like the small contained area will alter even within the same level, which I think is really cool. Like there's just very like minute changes to things that like keeps you on your toes. I think even like the spawning of enemies each time you restart is like a little bit different. Like the same number of enemies will appear, but like they'll be in a little bit different spots. So like it's not like you can just kind of camp a certain area. You have to like be constantly on your toes.
Yeah, it does a really great job of helping you build your skill as the difficulty ramps, and that's why I feel like it's never too tough a task, because they introduce the mechanics at a nice pace, and then they introduce the enemies at a pretty regular clip as well. And so by the time you do reach World 3, by the time you do reach the laser Gabe mentions, you feel like you have pretty good command over your weaponry. And to me, what really seals the deal is that energy sword. I think the fact that giving you a melee type weapon is really, really smart, because it allows you to approach things from a much more aggressive and attacking standpoint than defensive. It's at times about entering the fray and surrounding yourself with enemies so that you can use the energy sword, or so you can use the missiles, as opposed to always playing at the back of the screen. And the wrapping nature of the levels ensures that you're going to consistently have enemies approaching from both sides, and there's never a safe moment. And I like that it makes you feel really good. Like, it makes you feel really skilled, and it's a tried and true sort of thing about game design. If they're able to make you feel smart, able to make you feel skilled, able to make you feel successful, it adds that much more to your gameplay and experience. And Graceful Explosion Machine does a fantastic job of making you feel like a skilled gamer.
And it doesn't really hold your hand in terms of telling you like how to use things or like when to use things, and even stuff like the combo meter. Like, when I was making the first initial Let's Play video, like I didn't even really focus on that or know that, and it wasn't until like I played where I was not talking and I was just focusing on the game, and like the sounds are so like tuned. Like when it drops and it makes that like the noise, like I was like, what the heck is that? And then I looked up and realized, oh my gosh, there is a combo meter that I'm trying to get. So like you have to kind of like teach yourself, but it's not like frustrating or like you're not like there's no like gaps. Like it just like slowly builds and you slowly learn as you're going. And then we haven't even talked about the challenge mode that you unlock after you beat each world, and that offers just a whole new layer to it. Takes away your extra lives, so you only have like 3 hits, and you're trying to like get again high scores. But it's just another layer of difficulty that you can kind of, like you're saying, the replayability. It makes you want to go back and play and challenge yourself even more. And there are new levels. It's like 2 per world. And yeah, it's an amazing thing. It's another reason to keep playing the game, which I would still play anyway because it's just so fun.
Are you guys submitting your high scores to the leaderboard? Because it does have like that small, like not multiplayer, but that small online component where like if you think you did really well in a level and you got yourself an S rank and you got yourself a really high score, you can submit those for the leaderboard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is a nice way to sort of introduce even more of an addictive replayability. So yeah, I think that is a really fun little touch.
Are you submitting yours?
I have had issues submitting, but that's only because of my Wi-Fi issues in my apartment.
I submit mine if I do well. if it's like my first time playing the level and I get like a C, then I'm like, nah, not worth it.
I am not the best out of the 3 of us at the game, so I'm not submitting much of anything. But the game is so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, if you take it at just surface value, the levels are very repetitive, right? There's differences, but the variety isn't like overwhelming, and it really boils down to the mechanic of controlling this ship and firing, and then the visual reward that you're given. There's a very good sort of like Pavlov's dog type system here. The explosions of the aliens, and then the little power pellets that pop out. Because remember, your power meter drains as you use the special weapons, the 3 energy sword missiles and beam, and you need to collect yellow crystal pellets from the enemies in order to fill that back up. So again, that's really this just further emphasizing this great push-pull of, okay, in order to kill a bunch of enemies, I need these power abilities. But in order to fill up the power abilities, I have to kill a bunch of enemies. So it's constantly thrusting you into the action. And I think that's where you don't even have a moment to like feel bored or feel repetitive, because something is always happening, and it feels great.
And I think it's really cool how like they don't really give you like the energy sword can destroy bullets, but it can't like block enemies. Like if there's a big enemy, and your dash can go through enemies, but it can't you can't go through bullets. So like there's definitely like you have to utilize like so many things at the same time. And like you were saying with the energy pellets, like your dash you would think you use to escape things, but sometimes I use my dash like to dash into the mix of everything, then quickly dash out because I need more of those pellets. So it's just like they're very simple mechanics, and it's very simple, like straightforward. Like, okay, you have these 4 weapons, you could dash and a flip, and that's it. But like the way you can use them together and like integrate and change between them and like when to use which one is like it's like pretty like complex and like so like it just flows really well together. Like it's amazing. I don't know. It's just super cool.
I think it's a great example also of like really getting either lucky or just being super skilled at knocking it out of the park with every small decision, right? The dash, super smart, feels great how you can, sort of phase through enemies but not bullets. The fact that the energy sword can destroy bullets, like, we've talked on some of the earlier Switch indies, things like Snake Pass, things like Has-Been Heroes, some decisions that were like, why was that in there? Graceful Explosion Machine is a must-buy for me and a no-brainer Switch top 3 title because of the fact that everything feels spot on. Everything feels really good. If I had any complaint to level against Gem here, it would be that the missiles, I don't use them very much.
Oh, really?
I use them a lot.
I use them I use them a decent amount because I like that you can direct them. Like even that, like you can like shoot them out in front of you and then like run through and collect a bunch of bullets. Maybe you're just
and
too
if I had
advanced.
to like level a complaint, and I mean the game's great, but it can get repetitive if you're not the type to like chase high scores. Like if you just want to like play through the game one time, but also keep in mind it is like $13, so that is.
So how many hours do you need before you feel like you've had enough? I mean, to me, a movie ticket is more than $13 out here in LA. So if I get 2 hours and I've already had plenty more than that. it's totally worth it.
Yeah, the game is totally worth it, and I full-heartedly recommend it. But I'm just saying, like, if you're not the type to like, chase high scores, like, you know, you might be like limited by the 36 levels plus the bonus.
Or if you're just not a fan of these arcadey type, very twitch reflex based games, because it is something that while they help you build your skill, you are going to need to be constantly on your toes. You are going to need to be pretty, you know, skilled at maneuvering the ship and staying alive. I think giving you 3 hits till death, and then there's a lot of ability to recover and recoup that health. I think they're pretty generous in making sure you don't die, but you may get frustrated with your combo meter constantly falling and your score not being so shareable if this just isn't your style of game.
And I think this is like a perfect Switch game. Like I can see playing it on another console or system, but I think it's a perfect Switch game because you can play it like 2 to 4 minutes for a level. Like that's a pretty dang sweet spot for timing, like just picking up and playing. And if you're just on the go and you want to like, okay, I'm gonna try to redo that level, just try to get a higher score, like you can just pick up and play it and feel like satisfied. And I think it feels like that Switch game that I'll keep on my, you know, rotation of when I am out and just want to do something quick and not, you know, get into a whole Zelda session or Has-Been Hero run or something like that.
Yep,
this
replaces Has-Been Heroes for me.
It'll just be like the one that like I can pull out and like almost like an advanced mobile game where I'm playing it, you know, just for a short burst of time to try to do the level once. And I feel like that's like the ideal Switch experience.
Yeah, it is a great bite-sized game, and I've even played it docked, you know, when I was capturing footage, and I know you have as well, Jake. It feels great on the Joy-Con. Split Joy-Con is a great way to play. And then obviously handheld, I feel like you get a little more into it just because the screen is right up there by your face. But I can't say enough good things. I think that Vertex Pop hit a home run, and I hope that they are rewarded with a whole lot of love and a whole lot of sales because this game surely deserves. You guys have any favorite moments or just sort of like a water cooler like level story or something that happened that really stood out to you?
I don't think I have like anything specific like that, unfortunately.
I think just when you get to that point where you can so fluidly flip between weapons and like you're just kind of like, it's almost like Guitar Hero where like you hit a groove and you're just like in the zone and like knocking everything out of the park and, you know, collecting all the gems and getting that like, you know, 24 times meter or whatever combo. But I think that it's not really a moment. It's just kind of that feeling that you get. And I also really think that they did a really good job of keeping the design of enemies simple, but they are new and unique each time. Like you get to like halfway through a world or a new world, it throws like a new type of enemy at you that is a curveball, which I think is really good game design.
Yeah, mine would be just getting those perfect phases when you're able to maintain the combo meter throughout the entire wave, and you're able to stay, you know, hit free and kill every enemy. It just speaks to how well all the weapons are integrated and the controls that you don't have to think about it. It seems like a lot to balance out 4 weapons: the dash, you know, maneuvering around, collecting the power pellets, staying alive, turning left to right, wrapping around the screen, keeping your combo meter going. But the fact that you can do it almost mindlessly after a while, and just rely on pure coordination is really a beautiful thing. And again, like it's just phenomenal. I think that's the best way to put it. It came out of nowhere. It's a huge surprise, and it gives me hope for a lot of the other Nindies, because this is one that was showcased there and that Nintendo clearly sought out and signed an agreement with. So hopefully the rest of their upcoming lineup is even, at least some of them are as good, because I think this is a great start, a great sort of. People talk about the Switch becoming sort of the Vita replacement for indies, and I think that's already happening. So get this game. It is so good. If you've been looking for something to play that is a counterweight to Zelda or something after Zelda, I think that it's either Snipper Clips or Graceful Explosion Machine. Those, to me, are the 3 best games on the console currently. And what's great here also, last thing I'll say, Gem is a new game, right? The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus is phenomenal in the system, but that's been done. Shovel Knight is phenomenal, but it's been done. And Mario Kart also, you know, coming out, it's going to be super fun, but it's been done. Brand new. Graceful Explosion Machine, give it a go. I think you will really like what you see. Let us know in the comments if you already are playing it, if you plan on picking it up, what your thoughts are. Hopefully you enjoy our S ranking in the video for the gameplay. And I'm going to go back to chasing high scores and wrap up all of the challenge modes. In the meantime, Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date on the latest and greatest from Switch and all the upcoming gems that we will try and uncover for you. Still think it's so crazy that this is a gem called Gem. But anyhow, for myself, Jake and Gabe, thanks again. Until next time, everybody, SwitchForce out.